infants as pediatrician who have been born at home. And I feel after that experience, these 34 years, I have a very deep insight into home birth and its implications. And by the way, I found that the people who chose this option, and I think you can tell by the people behind me, they're not crazed, irresponsible flower children. On the contrary, they're almost always extremely educated, very thoughtful, very well informed, and they've chosen the home birth option after very careful consideration. I've always been impressed then and now that properly done, and that is the key words, properly done, home birth is at least as safe as a hospital delivery. So what does properly done mean? First of all, midwives need to be properly trained. Second of all, they need to be properly equipped. Third of all, pregnancy needs to be carefully monitored so the problems are appropriately treated, and so that high-risk pregnancies can be selected out and diverted to planned hospital deliveries. And last, early and middle labor needs to be properly screened so that developing problems during labor can be treated, and if needed, the mother can be expeditiously transferred to a hospital for delivery. But what about safety? Multiple studies around the world, including one published in 2005 in the extremely prestigious British Medical Journal, one of the 2 top journals in the world, along with the New England Journal of Medicine in this country, have shown that confidently attended midwife-assisted home births are completely safe, as safe as hospital delivery. Similarly, a large 2007 study analyzing midwife-assisted home births in Washington State found them to be just as safe as hospital births, and showed, and I hope you're interested in this too, that they generated very, very large cost savings for the Washington State Medicaid system. This is why the United Kingdom has actively encouraged home births as part of their large health system. This is why home births account for a significant percent of births in the Netherlands. This is why the American Public Health Association, has supported home births as an option and advocated in favor of licensure, just like we're doing here, of certified midwives. And this is why many states in this country here, the United States of America, have already made effective laws regulating and permitting midwife-assisted home births. I'd like to note that none of these states and none of these countries have repealed those laws. None. They've been successful, extremely successful, everywhere they've been enforced. Ladies and gentlemen, the doctors and public health officials in the United Kingdom, the Netherlands, Switzerland, Washington State, California, and countless other places in the USA and around the world, they are not cavalier and irresponsible. They would not endorse practices that they thought were dangerous. The American Public Health Association is not run by a bunch of wild-eyed radicals. Unlike some others, the American Public Health Association represents only one special interest: the health of the people of this country. There's another important point. My peers representing the medical establishment will have you believe that there is a simple equation. Home births are risky, hospital births are safe. This is untrue. There are significant risks inherent to hospital births that are completely lacking in home births, including hospital-acquired infections like the dreaded MRSA, which I know you've all heard so much about. They are not unusual in the hospital. I deal with them all the time, and so do all my colleagues here who are hospital-based physicians. These infections virtually never occur at home because MRSA is largely a hospital germ. Hospitals have an unacceptably high rate of cesarean sections, often in the 30% range. 30%, think about that. 1 out of 3 babies have to be cut out of their mother's belly. A C-section is major surgery with many, many risks, which we don't have to talk about here, but which I could go into if you want. The C-section in contrast to a home birth is only about 3 to 6%. Also, hospital births generally include multiple drugs with many resulting side effects, which sometimes severely affect the mother or the baby. Drugs are almost never used in home births. The few drugs listed in this bill to be available for use by midwives are all, 1, to be given to the mother after birth, so they will have no effect on the baby. B, extremely simple and safe drugs to use. And I wanted to mention that the medication section in this bill was specifically reviewed and approved by the Illinois Society for Advanced Practice Nursing. My peers here today in the medical establishment, I'm sure, will have you believe that administering these few standard drugs requires years and years and years and years of medical training. This is, to put it simply and honestly, nonsense. The citizens of Illinois deserve to have access to the safe health option. This bill is an excellent opportunity to ensure that the four characteristics of properly done home birth, as I described above, will be the norm. The bill mandates strict educational and certification requirements for certified professional midwives. I'm sure that is why professional nursing groups have expressed no opposition to this bill. The opposition of my peers in organized medicine, on the other hand, is sadly all too predictable. In line with a long and consistent history of obstructionism to any development that is viewed as threatening to its turf or economic hegemony. Let's start with Medicare and go on from there. Regulated midwife-assisted home births offer a financially attractive and safe birth option to countless thousands of Illinois residents, many of whom lack the health insurance needed to afford extremely expensive hospital deliveries. I fear that if this bill fails, Illinois citizens will still avail themselves of midwives. We'll still have home births, but we'll have passed up a great opportunity to regulate midwives and ensure that these births are safe. There are virtually no physician or nurse midwives in the state of Illinois who assist home births. Well-trained and certified professional midwives are the only alternative. Home births are a reality. They're here to stay. We can drive them underground or render them more risky, or we can pass this bill and make sure that this option is as safe as it can possibly be. To do otherwise is to jeopardize the health of our most precious asset, our children. Remember, once again, home births with certified professional midwives are safe. This is not my opinion. It's not anybody's opinion. It is a proven fact. Do not be misled by scaremongers. It's no accident that this bill is titled the Home Birth Safety Act. You have two choices. You can sanction a status quo in which home births and midwives are completely underground, completely unregulated, which clearly places babies and mothers at risk. We need a mechanism to get rid of bad apples. And there are bad apples out there. Right now there's no mechanism at all because they're all underground. They're all unregulated. But those mechanisms exist already for doctors. There's bad doctors. I don't want to shock you. There's bad doctors. We have regulatory mechanisms to get rid of them. There's bad nurses. We have regulatory mechanisms to get rid of them too. We need the same thing for midwives. So I hope that you'll do this, so that you'll ensure that midwives who will now be legal, now be licensed, can freely collaborate with pediatricians like myself, obstetricians in the hospital, without being afraid of being persecuted or arrested, which is the case right now. Obviously, such collaboration is in the interest of our mothers and children and ensures safer and better health care. I thank you for listening to me. As you can tell, I'm passionate about this issue, because I think it's important. But I thank you for listening to me, and I just really, truly pray that you will all have the political courage to stand up to self-interested lobbyists and do the right thing for Illinois mothers and children like the ones that I am. Thank you.